Hello guys, welcome back. This is Desktop Strategist, and today we're going to be playing the T25/2. So, this is an interesting tank, and one I believe that is sometimes misunderstood by a lot of people, as it was by me. I used to hate this tank with a burning passion. I still do sometimes, mind you. But then I decided that I'd give it one more chance, and somebody gave me a few tips on how to run it, and I suddenly started doing pretty well with it, actually. And I've decided that it gets to stay in my garage. It doesn't get to be sold again. Because this is one of those tanks that I sold it a few times because I really, really did not like it. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get on in the battle. So I can show T25/2 in action. So, as a tier 7, this is pretty good matchmaking. Not sure what we're going to do in terms of actually sniping. Well, I guess we can always get up on that ridge. Yeah, that's the thing. With the T25/2, a lot of people might think you should play it somewhat like the Hellcat, which you can play as a really effective flanker, or a really effective light brawler. Not really a brawler. Maybe I'm using the term brawler incorrectly. But it doesn't necessarily play like the Hellcat. That's one of the problems of this tank. One, because it is slower. It can get up to the 50-kilometer area, but it takes a while to get there. Generally, you'll be traveling around at 30, 20 kilometers an hour. So, it's best not to expect to be the speed demon. Let's see, I wonder... I should probably be able to do something from up here anyways. It doesn't really feel like a sniper all the time, but that's the thing. You really do need to be sniping. It's possible to be effective without sniping, but you really need good support whenever that's happening, because if you're all alone and you're up close range, they're not going to have too much trouble dispatching of your 850 hit points, especially due to the fact that you have 70 millimeters of frontal armor. I mean, really, the only part of this tank that can actually reliably nullify enemy rounds is the gun mantlet, which is pretty effective at it, I might say. Because the gun mantlet, if anything with a tier 7 gun hits you there, that one hit me in the turret ring. Surprised it didn't damage it. Good thing, at least. Must have been a Hellcat, or maybe the ARL. But if anybody hits you in your mantlet, they'll pretty much bounce unless they are one of the big tier 8 heavy tanks or a tier 8 TD. Tier 8 medium tanks, tier 7 heavy tanks, tier 7 TDs, those will all bounce right off of that mantlet. It's pretty nice, actually. I mean, other than that, though, you really got to be careful. You don't want to get hit, because this thing cannot take a beating. It is not built to take a beating, and it really does not perform well under that kind of stress. Well, it's a good thing, because our guys actually got some work done, and so that Hellcat that spotted me the last time is now, well, dead. The heck is he going after? Oh, he was going after the Cromwell. Nah, the AT-8 can't do... well... yeah, the AT-8 can't do 220 damage, so I don't think it's that. So, my main part in the battle is pretty much not going to start until these guys start to advance up there and spot the guys that are over there. Because nobody's shooting at me right now, but, you know, that could change. So, as you can see, the gun is actually fairly accurate. I believe it's a little bit more accurate than the 105mm that the T25 AT gets. It still can miss, but it's really nice to know that you do have a good gun that you can rely on. And a gun that can get some pretty decent damage rolls. Of course, though, I'm getting the brunt of their force since I killed 2 of their guys just now. See, where did that shot hit? I can't see where that... oh, it hit me right smack dab in the hole. So, now we play the waiting game. We're going to wait for our team to basically go up and spot the enemy that's over here. because there are some more enemies, as you can see from the fact that they're shooting at me. Like this fine gentleman, who's just plain asking for a T25/2 to shoot him in the side armor. Oh, that is just too good to pass up. It seriously is. There we go. So as you can see, this thing is actually quite capable of putting out some serious damage on enemy tanks. I got 3 kills so far, and while, as you can see, whenever they did spot me, those were not fun times. But while they didn't have me spotted, that was basically whenever I just had my run of the place, and, well, I destroyed stuff. So the gun's pretty nice. It's got a 6.93 second reload. Granted, I do have a gun rammer on this tank, but I'm assuming maybe a lot of you will too once you notice that the base reload without a gun rammer is basically 7.5 seconds, which kind of hurts. But the 6.93 second with the 250 damage, the only tank that really beats that in this tier is the Jagdpanther, or the Tiger, which have about a 5-second reload, a 5.6 second reload, with all the stuff on the 88 cannon. I don't use the 105 cannon for the Jagdpanther. I usually prefer the 88 because it's got a faster reload. As you can see, this match is going pretty much solidly in our way. I'm just going to go ahead and start doing close support, get myself killed, look like a noob, you know, just general stuff. So, I guess what I'll do is I'll cover against this T29. Since he's probably gonna pull out at some point. I'll keep him from flanking those guys. Or, no, he's actually gonna turn around. There we go. I know, I stole that one a little bit, but sometimes you just gotta. But as you can see, this tank is pretty accurate. It's rate of fire. The penetration's good enough to penetrate pretty much everything in your tier at around that area of the side armor, and a lot of tanks even in the frontal armor can be penetrated, and especially the IS tanks, or at least the IS tanks before the IS-3, which can be penetrated in the turret if you know where you're looking. So, yeah, overall, it's a pretty solid tank, and the thing is, a lot of people either love it or they hate it. I think I said that earlier. But, you know, I will agree, there is no middle ground with this tank. It's a love or hate tank. I've never met anybody who, you know, just thinks it is meh. I've only met people who are like, oh my gosh, that tank's so amazing, I got the tier 10 for it, and I've still got it. Or the guy who's like, I played 7 battles in that, and I sold it. Cough, 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 me, cough, cough. But yeah, it is really, really solid tank, and it doesn't have very many weaknesses. Well, define weaknesses. Yeah, it does have some weaknesses, but as a tank destroyer, it doesn't really have many weaknesses if you play it correctly. See, the main weakness you'll run into is that a tank with a really accurate gun can shoot you on either side of your mantlet and will pretty much go through, because at that point it's 25 millimeters thick. It's only 76 millimeters thick, like right here and right here. Once you get to here, this is a slope 25, and, well, pretty much anything's going to go through slope 25. So, you know, if anything hits you there, you're going to get penned. But if anything hits you in this range, without, of course, being aimed down towards your open ammo rack that is vulnerable from there to a good shot, it'll basically be nullified. And to anybody who is using a large derp cannon such as the KV-2, I would not recommend shooting this area. This area is actually a lot stronger than it would seem, because I just don't know. This is probably just because, it's where the shells are kept, and so you can probably damage the ammo rack if you hit it in this area, but an HE shell that would kill it here won't kill it here. Or here, or here, or here. It would kill it in all these places,